Okay, let's unpack this. You want to speak English more fluently? Yeah. Sound more natural and just feel, way more confident when you speak. It's a common goal.
Absolutely.
So what if there was this surprisingly effective way to maybe fast track that a bit? It's called shadowing. And from what we've been looking into, it might just be a key for you.
It really is fascinating how something that sounds, well, pretty straightforward can make such a difference.
Right.
We checked out this great episode of the Speak Better Daily podcast. It featured Lena and one of her students, Tom.
Ah,
And what's great about Tom is, he's not some language guru. He's just a regular learner who actually used shadowing.
and saw results.
Yeah, really noticeable changes in his speaking.
Yeah.
So his experience feels, I think, very relatable.
Definitely. So it's not magic. It's about consistent effort with a smart method.
Exactly.
And that's what we're doing today. A deep dive into this. We want to get the nuts and bolts of shadowing, what it is, sure, but maybe more importantly, why it works.
Like what's happening in the brain.
Yeah. How it trains you for fluency, and then the practical stuff, how you can actually do it daily.
Tom's routine, maybe.
Exactly. We'll look at Tom's routine, common mistakes to sidestep,
Always helpful.
and, what kind of results you might actually see, like Tom did.
Okay, so first things first. For anyone listening who's thinking, shadowing, what's that? Let's just clarify.
Good idea. So imagine you're listening to a native speaker, maybe from a podcast, a YouTube video.
Right.
And you start repeating exactly what they say immediately, almost like your voice is their echo.
Or their shadow, hence the name.
Exactly. You could be speaking at the exact same time or maybe just a split second behind them. And this is important, it's not just robotic repetition.
No, not at all. Think of it more like a full workout for your mouth and ears.
Okay.
You're not just saying the words, you're actively trying to copy
Everything.
Like how they pronounce the sounds, the ups and downs of their voice, the intonation.
their rhythm.
Yeah, the rhythm of the sentences. You're trying to capture the whole sound of the language.
Lena, from that podcast, she had a great analogy. She said it was like singing along to a song you love. You don't just know the words, you try to match the singer's feeling, the phrasing.
The musicality.
Right. Shadowing is like that, but for just talking. You're trying to embody how English sounds.
And this is where it gets really interesting, learning-wise. Tom mentioned, after doing this consistently for a bit,
Yeah.
his pronunciation just felt more natural. And he wasn't, constantly translating in his head before speaking.
Oh, that's huge.
It is. And it suggests shadowing is doing more than just mimicry. It's like building a more direct pathway to the spoken language in your brain.
Lena called it brain training for fluency. I like
I
that.
too. It makes sense because you're hitting multiple things at once, right? Listening skills, pronunciation, speaking flow.
All at the same time.
Yeah. It forces your brain to process English in real time, moving away from that reliance on your native language as a crutch.
So it's less translating, more direct thinking in English.
Exactly. And Tom's confidence boost, that seems like a natural outcome. When your brain handles the language more automatically.
You just feel more comfortable speaking it.
Precisely.
Which is what everyone wants, right? Tom said before shadowing, he'd often just freeze, get stuck translating.
Common problem.
But now, he says his speech is much more spontaneous, automatic. That kind of ease is the goal.
Definitely.
So how did he actually do it, make this brain training part of his day? What was Tom's routine?
Well, he kept it pretty practical, manageable. About 15, maybe 20 minutes a day, usually in the morning.
Okay, consistent chunk of time.
Right. And first step, always choose a short audio clip.
How short?
He found 1 to 3 minutes was the sweet spot. Natural English podcasts, TED Talks, YouTube.
Stuff people actually listen to.
Exactly. And crucially, before shadowing, he'd just listen once, straight through, just to get the gist.
Makes sense. You need to know what you're trying to say. What next?
Then the shadowing itself. Play the clip again, speak along, and really try to match the speaker. Speed, tone, rhythm. The works.
Sounds intense, focus-wise.
He said it requires real focus, yeah. Listening intently and immediately trying to reproduce it.
But what about the tricky bits? I can imagine stumbling over certain phrases.
Oh, yeah. He didn't just push through those. If something was tough, he'd pause, rewind, and practice that specific sentence or phrase again and again until it felt smoother.
So targeted practice on the hard parts. Smart.
That repetition is key, he found.
Okay, was there anything else to his routine?
Yes, one more really important piece. Self-assessment.
How'd he do that?
He'd actually record himself doing the shadowing.
Oh, brave.
Haha, yeah. But effective. Then he'd listen back to his recording and compare it directly to the original audio.
So you can really hear the differences.
Exactly, where your pronunciation is off or your rhythm, your intonation. It's like having instant feedback. Yeah. Built-in coach.
That's brilliant. A great way to pinpoint what needs work. Okay, so choosing the audio, that seems critical. What should beginners look for?
Yeah, Lena had some solid advice there. Definitely start with audio that's slow and clear.
Okay. Examples.
Think resources like VOA Learning English.
Voice of America.
Yeah, that one. Or BBC Learning English. Even some YouTube channels specifically for learners often have slower, clearer speech. It just makes it easier to catch the sounds and rhythm when you're starting.
Right, so don't jump into like a fast-paced movie dialogue on day one.
Probably not the best idea, no. But Tom's journey shows the progression, right? He started slow. Then as he got better.
He moved on.
Exactly. He started tackling regular podcasts, interviews, even movie scenes eventually. So the technique grows with you.
That's good to know. And there was another point about choosing material. Something about interest.
Oh, yeah, vital. Both Tom and Lena stress this.
Yeah.
Pick stuff you actually like.
Makes total sense. If it's boring, you won't stick with it.
Precisely. Tom loved travel, so he shadowed travel vloggers.
Nice. Learn about travel and improve English. Win-win.
Exactly. Enjoyment fuels consistency. Now, like any technique, there are pitfalls, right? Mistakes beginners make.
Ah, yes. The learning curve. What did Tom run into?
Well, one of his first issues was trying to go too fast too soon. Trying to match the native speaker's speed perfectly from the start.
And what happened?
He just ended up mumbling. Got frustrated. He learned it's better to start slower, focus on clarity, and then gradually build speed.
Okay, manage the speed. What else?
He also realized just doing it now and then wasn't cutting it. That consistent daily repetition, that was crucial for actually internalizing things.
So frequency matters. Little and often is better than one long session a week.
Seems so. And another thing he mentioned was relying on subtitles.
Oh, interesting. Why is that a mistake for shadowing?
Well, subtitles are great for comprehension, obviously. But Lena pointed out, when you're shadowing, the goal is listening, really tuning your ear. Reading subtitles kind of pulls your focus away from the sound towards the visual words. It distracts from the main point of the exercise.
Got it. Train the ear, train the mouth, keep the eyes out of it, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Focus on the audio input.
Okay, so knowing the potential mistakes is helpful. What about positive tips? How can listeners really get the most out of shadowing?
Right. Let's summarize some actionable advice from Lena and Tom. We've said it, but start slow. Short, slower audio first.
Build that foundation.
Yep. And really focus on the rhythm and tone, that musical quality of English Lena mentioned.
The intonation, the stress.
Exactly. Headphones can really help here to catch the details.
Good tip.
And again, consistency, daily practice. Even if it's just 10 minutes, it adds up.
10 minutes sounds doable for almost anyone.
It really does. And Lena added one more thing I thought was quite physical.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
She said to be energetic, really move your mouth, exaggerate the facial movements as you shadow.
Put the muscles involved.
Yeah, build that muscle memory for making the sounds. It's a physical act, speaking.
True. And the final tip, which we touched on.
Choose stuff you enjoy. Makes it fun, makes you stick with it.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered the what, why, how, the mistakes, the tips. Let's get to the payoff. What were the actual results for Tom? What changed?
The results he described are really encouraging. He noticed a definite increase in fluency.
Meaning less? Getting stuck?
Exactly. Less searching for words mid-sentence. Things flowed better. He also said his speech just sounded more natural.
Less like reading from a script, more like talking.
Right. And interestingly, his accent softened over time as well. Not necessarily losing it, but sounding more naturally English.
Wow. Those are pretty significant improvements, the kind most learners really want. It's amazing that just mimicking can do that.
Well, it's active mimicking. And he also mentioned that mental shift, remember, starting to think more directly in English.
Right, less translation. How does shadowing help with that, do you think?
Because you're processing and producing the English so quickly, in real time, it forces your brain to make those direct connections, sound to meaning.
Bypassing the native language step.
Over time, yeah. It weakens that reliance on translation, leads to more automatic speech. Tom called shadowing his free-speaking partner every day.
That's a great way to put it. Consistent, active practice on tap. Okay, so for someone listening now, maybe feeling intrigued, but also a bit hesitant, am I ready for this? What's the final word?
Tom's advice was perfect, I think. Just simple. Just start.
Don't overthink it.
Exactly. Don't wait until you feel 100% ready. Even if you only understand, say, 60% of the audio at first. That's okay. Start there.
Every bit of practice counts.
Right. Consistency beats perfection, especially early on. You build momentum, you build confidence just by doing it.
That's really empowering. And Lena's final thought framed it nicely, too.
Yeah, she said it's more than just practice. It's a mindset.
A mindset.
Of training yourself to live in English. Actively immersing yourself in the soundscape of the language.
I like that. So, listener, here's the challenge. Find a short audio clip today. Just a minute, maybe 2.
Something you find interesting.
Yes. And just try it. Press play. Be that speaker's shadow for 10 minutes. See how it feels.
10 minutes. That's it.
Tom's experience shows that this kind of consistent effort, it really can make a difference in just a few weeks. You absolutely can sound more natural, feel more confident, and maybe, just maybe, shadowing is that effective shortcut you've been looking for.